Hi, and welcome to Money Talks for Women. I'm so delighted because today is one of my favorite topics of health, success, wealth, and abundance. So
Mm.
I have someone special with me today that I want to introduce to you. Uh, Christine Williams. Chris Williams is a heart centered business strategist, and she helps service based women, entrepreneurs, and coaches who are in the wellness area to have an abundant business, to build an abundant business. And I am so excited because she has helped so many women who are entrepreneurial coaches, transformational coaches, as well as wellness coaches to
Mhm.
transform their businesses and build their businesses into abundant and thriving enterprises. So
Mm.
I'm delighted to introduce to you today Christine or Chris Williams. Welcome to our podcast today, Chris.
Hi, Lynn. Thank you for having me. What a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Well,
that.
such a beautiful woman, and all of that you have done, I think we can put in the column of beauty. I love the way that you, um, with beauty, with class, with expertise, and with success driven principles, help women. So, first of all, I just want to say kudos to you. I've been watching you for about a year to
Mm.
help other women to really grow their businesses to successful six figure, seven figure, eight figure businesses. And I just, so first of all, kudos to you. Thank you for the work that you do in the world. I'm so excited to introduce you to my clients because I do believe that as we can truly support and foster abundance among women,
Hmm.
that we all gain. That we all gain. Would you agree with that, Chris?
Oh my gosh, absolutely, for sure. I think that the more women that are feeling like they are abundant, that they have money, and that they've got choices, we know that when women have more money, that the world is better because in the way that women actually contribute to their communities, to their families, to multiple ways. And so I'm all in on you with that. Women's empowerment, and especially around building a business, and then you building financial empowerment is just such a beautiful, beautiful team. We make a great team.
We make a great team, and it's a holistic idea.
Hmm.
And that word holistic is one that I want to bring forth next. Tell
Hmm.
us a little bit, Chris, about your business and how you support holistic entrepreneurs, what
Yeah.
that means, and how you began. Maybe if you could go back a little bit and tell us a little bit about how you began in the wellness area industry and then began to move forward into a broader holistic enterprise.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for asking. Yeah. So I have over 30 years of experience in the wellness world. And I had absolutely no intention of actually being a business coach. So let me just say that, like, that was nowhere on my radar when I got my first certification as a yoga teacher back in 1995, and, decided that I wanted to help women, and people feel better in their bodies and live more of a natural lifestyle, so more of a holistic lifestyle. So that was something that was really important to me. And I began incorporating, adding yoga teaching on the side, kind of like a little side thing when I was actually in the corporate world. And my journey in the corporate world was as an account executive. And so they had moved me from Washington, D.C. down to the South to open up their Southern markets when I was 25 years old. And so here I am, new place. And I began to teach yoga, and I loved it. Just really loved teaching it for myself. So the interesting thing is in all of these different modalities that I've, ventured in.
Well, excuse
Um,
me, real quick. What were your original certifications then? Was it
yeah.
nutrition?
Mhm. So my original certification was yoga and meditation, and I did a mastery in Kripalu yoga as well as in holy yoga and kids yoga. I actually flew the founder of Yoga Kids into Charlotte, and we kind of opened up the Charlotte market there. And so that was kind of my first introduction. And then from there, I have always been interested in nutrition. So let me just say, nutrition has been something that I've been deeply excited and passionate about since I've been, a child. Whether it's cooking or whether it's learning about how food makes us feel, that's just kind of been a natural love. But originally from that, I got married, had my kids, quit the corporate world, and actually did a lot of smaller entrepreneurial things at home. In addition to teaching yoga, we started a CSA farm, and we started doing more things in the holistic realm because that was just our jam. We really loved that. I homeschooled my kids, and so we needed to have some other things, that we were doing, and so that was, really, really fun. Fast forward 17 years and we got a divorce. We were just not, a good fit for each other. And so I had to figure out what I was going to do to take care of myself. I was leaving a 17-year marriage with no money, none. Like I had no money of my own. I legit had $25 in my account, and that was it.
$25 an account. Oh my
Yep.
goodness.
And so I had to figure out what I was going to do. And I had the choice. I remember thinking, Chris, corporate, you could go back into corporate, you could, contact some of the people that and, see if, even though my skills are a little outdated, I'm sure I could find something. Or you could do something that you've been thinking about for a while that you're really passionate about. And that turned out to be massage therapy.
You
And
followed
so
your passion.
I followed my passion. And I said, you know what? Now's the time. Like, here's the deal. I have to find a way to take care of myself. I wanted it to be something that I knew that I had been wanting to do, and I wanted it to be something that I wasn't going to have to go work for somebody else, because I still was raising my children, and I wanted to make sure that I could make my own hours and be available for them after school and football and soccer and all that other stuff.
So
So,
freedom, you wanted that freedom, the hour of freedom, time freedom,
yep,
and then
exactly.
you wanted to build some financial freedom.
Exactly. So I went to massage school, got my certification, opened up my own business. I was just like, I'm just going to ask, how am I going to do this? I don't know. And I honestly just took one step after the other.
Hmm.
And as I was building my massage therapy practice, a lot of my clients were asking me about nutrition. And so I went back to school again, got my certification as a functional nutritional therapist, which was so much fun. I was like really loving it. And then just began to add some other things that I was interested in. So health coaching, that was more transformational. So we were adding in habit change, life coaching pieces of it, intuitive life coaching, all of these different modalities that I just felt were making me a stronger and stronger coach. And as I was building my health coaching, my nutritional, and my massage therapy practice, I kind of wove those three modalities in. It started like really booming. And I began having other colleagues asking me what it was that I was doing. And so I honestly just started sharing. I'm like, well, this is what I'm doing. And I remember one time a colleague had asked, and I said, you know what, I'm really just collaborating right now. Like I was reaching out to doctors and holistic practitioners and collaborating with them, and it was going amazing, and so much so that I ended up shutting down the part of my massage therapy practice, not just because the coaching was going so well, but I had a shoulder injury. And so typically when repetitive motion, kicks in,
Sure.
it's really hard to heal from that. So I shut down my massage therapy practice and went full time into nutritional therapy and coaching. And then just began sharing what it was that I was doing, and organically just kind of morphed into teaching more women what I was doing and how I was creating success. And here I am today as a business coach for holistic.
Helping others. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's rather fascinating because I remember hearing you talk about how when you first became certified,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't teach you how to actually go out and create a
No,
business. They didn't
no.
teach you how to create a client list. They didn't teach you how to
Mm-mm.
actually run a business. They didn't teach you a lot of things, right?
No, they didn't teach you any of it. And all of those, not in yoga, not in massage, not in functional nutrition, not in health coaching, not in life coaching. It was actually quite amazing because I was like, how can they not? And then I realized, oh, that's actually not their function. That's not their job is actually to help me learn their modality and become certified in their modality.
And you were
They're
kind of on your own then, like a fish out of water or flopping around and
Yep,
potentially wasting a lot of time.
yeah,
But I love the fact that it sounds as if you had a great deal of success on your own first, and you
yeah,
really didn't call it looking for clients. You called it
yeah,
collaboration. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah, yeah.
Could you
That's
talk a
all.
little bit more about, I mean, that is a very, with it, current
Mhm,
idea, almost as if, I mean, that is a very avant-garde idea in today's world.
mhm,
But it sounds as if that was natural, came natural to you.
yeah,
How was it that you began thinking along those collaborative lines? You
yeah,
mentioned partnering with
mhm.
chiropractors or other medical physicians. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, for sure. I think, and you're right. I think it's so funny that I didn't know that it was a thing back then. I just knew that I wanted to help more people. And so I began thinking, who else could I connect with that might also serve my client? Where else are, people going that want support in health and wellness? And I thought, well, they're probably going to chiropractors. They're probably going to acupuncturists. They're probably going to integrative doctors. I know they're going to massage therapists. So I also, collaborated with massage therapists because I was one and they were coming to me. So that's kind of how I was looking at it. I wasn't necessarily looking at it as, oh, this is the thing that I have to do to market. I wasn't on social media. So I had no idea about the social media landscape on how you were supposed to be marketing. I think I may have had like a Facebook profile that I was just, dabbling in here and there, but I had no idea about how to actually grow an online business. So that wasn't in my forefront of my thoughts at all. And so I just began looking for people who would be interested in having conversations. And I started it from the place of who are they looking for to support, right? So because chiropractors, there's so many different chiropractors. Some of them just do energy work. Some of them actually do the physical adjustments. And so I really was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm right down the road. Who can I refer to you? How can I refer my clients to you? Like, tell me a little bit more about what you're looking for, in a client, like, so that I can refer them to you. And so that's what I began doing. And the interesting that happened from it was that then they were open to having conversations.
Yes,
Well, tell me more about
that's
what.
right, because you're actually the answer to one of their problems.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I did. Is I began, I was like, look, this is a program that I have that I think would really support your people, because I also knew that they didn't have the time, right? Like, doctors don't have the time to actually educate their clients. Like, what I was seeing was that they had a handout on the Mediterranean diet, or they had a handout on how to lower sugar, or they had a handout for, foods to eat, but they didn't have a way to actually hold somebody's hand through that process. And that's what I was doing. I had a 6-week wellness program that I was taking my clients through so that they had the step by step on how they could move from one place to the other. And so I became a bridge between the doctors, acupuncturists, chiropractors, and the clients that needed that support. And they were happy. They were like, hallelujah. Like, let's
Yeah.
get, so go to Chris, go talk to Chris. And that way they didn't feel like, they didn't have a resource. So I just became a resource for them.
You became a resource, but an expert resource,
Yeah.
so that they could really rely upon you and feel trust to
Hmm.
give you their clients in
Yeah.
and know that you would handle them respectfully and with a heart-centered
Hmm.
approach. And so that's where I'd like to go next, Chris. You
Yeah.
talk about heart-centered
Hmm.
uh, business building.
Hmm.
And so I can really hear in your approach how organic it was, how heart centered it was, how you were at service, being
Hmm.
at service first. And give me an idea, or give our audience here an idea of then how did you translate that or transfer that
Hmm.
to then helping
Hmm.
other wellness-based, heart-centered women to do the same for themselves, to grow their business? How did you transfer
Yeah.
that skill set over to helping other women grow their businesses?
Yeah, yeah, such a great question. So, the way that it became transferred is that I realized that what I was being taught basically there was like one main strategy that the schools that I went through for health coaching and life coaching were teaching. And that was, go book a whole bunch of discovery sessions and try to sell your 90-day program. And that didn't feel aligned for me because it felt very uh, what's the word, bait and switch, right? Like I was saying, oh, let me just give you 1 hour free coaching session, when really it was about, yeah, let me give you this free coaching session, but what I'm trying to do is to convince you or persuade you that what you need is actually my 90-day program. And it didn't feel good to me. And I thought, surely there's got to be a different way, because I didn't want to build and run a business on an aggressive marketing or sales tactic. I didn't love selling, I have to say, and I think that's normal for many holistic wellness entrepreneurs. We're really used to giving, and so trying to sell somebody on us felt really gross and ick. And I'm like, no, not doing it. And so I actually began working with some other women that I thought were really amazing at building and cultivating and growing community and building relationships. And so I hired my very first business coach, and I learned from her how she was actually serving first and how she was giving value and leading with value. And so, I began doing the same, and I moved it from, I didn't move it. I added the online portion of it so that I can serve more people, right? Because when we're local, there's a great community there, but it's limited. And I wanted to get the information out in a broader capacity. So I began to build my actually health and life coaching business online from this service oriented place. And it was when people were coming to me and I began to even share more. And I'm like, you know what, why don't I just do a training on this, and I'll share with you how I collaborated, and then you guys will have the whole thing. And I had 150 people that messaged me and said, I want that, can I join? And I'm like, holy cow. So I said, sure. And I remember going to my business coach and I said, now I'm so confused. Like, I don't know who my client is. Like, I thought it was women over here that were burning out and, feeling exhausted and, not having the energy that they needed to be the woman that they wanted to be in their lives. And now I've got all of these people coming to me asking me how to grow their business. And she said to me, Chris, I don't see a problem. And I'm like, all right. So I began to reverse engineer what it was that I was doing. And I created my own system, which was called the Soulful Abundance System. And
The
I,
soulful abundance system. I just wanted to say that again and underscore that. Okay, so you actually have a system
mm-hmm,
that helps
mm-hmm,
entrepreneurs
yep,
go from zero to their first 100,000 or a business
absolutely.
of six figures,
Yep.
and then you help them get to the seven-figure mark. So
Typically,
could you give
yes.
us, pardon
Mhm.
me?
Yeah, so my specialty is in the realm of helping them get to their first six figures and then scale to multiple six figures, or up to seven figures.
Okay,
That's
excellent.
I'm kind of in that zone. And here's why: there's a lot of coaches for new coaches, and there's a lot of coaches for once you get to seven figures and you want multiple millions, but there's not a whole lot of support in that six figure to a $500,000 range. And so I'm like, you know what, more of, again, I was listening and thinking, what is it that people need? What are people asking for? And so, the system that I created, that I reverse engineered, was really based on timeless principles that I used. And so it helps people in multiple, like, the same system is going to help you get to your first six figures as it's going to help you get to your second six figures, as it's going to help you, build to multiple six or seven figure business.
And by then you have some muscles built up so that you feel comfortable in that repetitive motion. But tell us a little bit about the clients that come to you now, your new clients,
Yeah.
who want what it is that you do have for them, a system.
Hmm.
And how do you really begin with them? And
Yeah.
could you kind of describe who that would be? Is that someone who already has a group, a clientele, and they're maybe 50,000, 75,000, and they're wanting to hit that 100,000 mark, or are they the 100,000
Mhm.
and they're wanting to hit the 300,000 mark.
Yeah,
Could you give me a little bit more
sure.
clarity on
Yeah.
what is
Mhm.
exactly the place at which you can help the best and the most?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually have two programs. One of them is called Holistic Business Foundations, and that is for the brand new holistic practitioner that maybe they're at zero, maybe they have absolute, that maybe they don't even know who they're serving, they don't know their ideal client, they don't have pricing, they don't have programs, they don't have a business model yet. So that program supports them there. That's a 6-month program so that we can really help them get the foundations that they need
Right.
dialed in. And then I have my Activate Abundance Academy, which is my year-long program. And we actually give, that is for the entrepreneur that has a vision for not only getting to 6 figures, but going to multiple 6 figures. And so, I will still take somebody in who is still fairly new because they get holistic business foundations as part of that program. But we start there. Like I want to make sure that everybody has got a really firm foundation in which to build their business. Because if they don't, then that affects everything. It affects how we're attracting our ideal client. It affects messaging. It just affects so much. So it really depends. So Activate Abundance, will serve multiple people, but really, if you want to scale from 100 to 500, that larger program is going to be where you want to be, because those foundational pieces are what we help you get on repeat so that it's working like a well-oiled machine. It's really hard to do that in 6 months. I would say it's actually going to take a couple years from when you're starting. And so we want to make sure that people have, the support that they need wherever it is that they are.
I think that's wonderful. Support is so important, and mentorship,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that you're working with someone who has been there, done that successfully, and who is now helping others to do that. And Chris, it must feel so good for you. Could you talk a little bit about the personal rewards you receive
Oh,
in
yeah.
working with this community of women?
Oh my gosh, yes. As a matter of fact, I was on a call with my Activate Abundance Academy, and we start with celebrations. Like, hey guys, what are we celebrating? And one of my clients, who actually lives in Charlotte, she just was visiting Italy with her daughter, and she celebrated. She said, "I just sold my first 6-month VIP program. I'm so darn excited." And that just makes me like light up. I'm like, yay, like it was her very first 6-month program. She's like, not only did I get a client, but I sold my first, 6-month, experience. And I love celebrating because that means that they're feeling good about themselves, they're feeling more confident, and they're impacting other lives as well. So, when I see my role, the difference of when I was building my health coaching practice, I could help somebody build their health. And of course, that had ripples into their families. But now, when I help more holistic entrepreneurs build and grow their business, that means that they are helping more lives, which means that
Exactly.
it's an even larger impact. And that just makes me feel so good because I know that it's changing our world for the better.
And there's that ripple effect too. Every woman that you serve, you know that they're going to be serving hundreds of more women in that same. And what I love about what you do primarily, and why I really wanted you to um, give the message
Mhm.
to my audience, is the amount of heart-centered, impact-driven emphasis that you place not only in your training modules, but the purpose for which you really instill, so that there is that ripple effect, so that there is that impact effect, so that we as women can not only help everyone else have the health, which is our first wealth, as I mentioned at the very beginning, but also that kind of heart centered abundance that
Yeah.
is sustainable.
Yes, absolutely. That's key. That is key. I made sure that when I began to build and grow my business, that it needed to be sustainable. I was not willing to burn out. I was not willing to sacrifice my integrity. That's why I said no to the strategy that I was being taught. I was not available for not being able to take vacations or go to my kids' soccer games or spend time with my husband. And so that's a critical foundation of both of my programs is we get to create a freedom calendar. We get to create a business that creates the experience that we want that works around our life. We're not trying to fit in our life in between the extra time of our business, because what happens then is you will not like, you won't like running your business. You'll burn out and you'll feel like, oh my gosh, I need to take like a 6 month vacation for my business, and that's not sustainable at
That's exactly right. And what
right.
I do love about all that you just said is that it is in alignment with the values
Yep.
that women hold dear in our hearts, so that we
Yep.
can stay true to the values that we want to live. I'm a big proponent of that, as you know, Chris. I'm here to train and help women to have in their investments once they are successful in their businesses, that then they move forward with that very same idea in mind and
Mm-hmm.
actually build portfolios that
Yeah.
reflect their personal values, so that
Mm-hmm.
it is almost like a continuation
Mm-hmm.
from business, from practices, from impact driven
Mm-hmm.
endeavors, to
Yeah.
then building wealth over time, building that kind of freedom that we all want, whether it's financial freedom, time and money freedom, and the ability to live our passions
Yeah.
and live our dreams.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. That's so so important. We get to have that. It's building a business that makes a lot of money isn't going to matter. It's not going to bring us fulfillment if we don't feel like we're able to contribute in some way, right? We all want to feel valued. We all want to feel like we have a sense of purpose. We all want to feel like we can give back. And, so that was just something that was really important. So, everybody has their own reason for wanting to make money. For me, I've got three boys. My last one is just not going to school. I was just able to write a check for his college tuition instead of, not having any loans, not having to borrow money in order to get my kid through college. He's number three. I was able to do that with all three. I was able to see the lavender fields in Provence over the summer and take my
Oh,
children with me and give them an amazing vacation. It's important for me to make sure that they get surrounded by culture. And so we've been to Italy, and we've been to Iceland, and we've been to France, and we've been to national parks. And so for me, creating money is a way for me to um, further my children's education and also have these amazing life experiences with them and with, my husband.
I love that. Thank you so much for being with us, for sharing all of that. This is actually wealth building in motion.
Yeah.
And speaking with you and how you really are helping women, and I'm sure not just women, but all people who come into your countenance, really help them, uplift them. And so I appreciate you so much, Chris. I do want to give a little shout out
Mhm.
to how we met.
Yeah.
Chris and I met through an amazing organization of business building, networking people called the Advance Innovation Society.
Yeah.
And I do know, I want to share with everyone that Chris is the local chapter leader in North Carolina, in Charlotte,
Hmm.
North Carolina, right?
Yep.
And
Charlotte,
so
North
we have that in common because I'm the one of the co-chair chapter leader
Carolina.
locally in
Hmm.
my town, Sarasota, Florida. And
Hmm.
so we get to collaborate together since we're leading. We actually took on these leadership roles
Hmm.
inside the Advanced Network Society, which is for businesses that want to develop their business locally. And then we also get on Zoom meetings because all of the cities, all of the members can come on, not just locally, but you can broaden your reach, broaden your scope by meeting all these people in at least, what is it, 35 different chapters now around the United States and internationally.
Yeah. Yes. It's so exciting. It's so
How are you
exciting.
finding being a member and a leader in that organization, Chris?
Oh, yeah. I love being a part of Advance because the people that are there are really wanting to, connect and lift each other up, right? It's very different. It's not like a pitch fest, right? Where we go and we're like, hey, do you want to buy my thing? We hardly ever really talk about, that part. We actually are in a place where we are listening to, like, Lynn, tell me what it is that you do. And I'm thinking, gosh, who could I connect you with that, that would help? It's really that part of community. And I love that that was the intention from the beginning, for it to be an organization that was designed to, not only bring you locally, because it's so much fun to be in local. And I have flown to multiple different, local meetings, because well, they're not local to me, but
Sure.
obviously, right? But to in-person meetings, and to be able to really connect with people and to be in the room with other men and women that are, building multiple, six-figure businesses that are also intentional about wanting to help each other. And I think
That's true, and it's exciting. And actually, I met you in person first at
heartwork.
the Fort Lauderdale
Yeah.
meeting, which and that is the national headquarters is in Fort
Mhm.
Lauderdale, Florida. So we both flew down together, and we went to that meeting. I met you in person, and then of course we've been in touch online, and now we're doing a joint collaboration in which, and this is part of it too, is to help others get their message out
Mhm.
so that we can all support each other. And I think it's so enriching. And I'm very happy that I had an opportunity to meet you that way and to be able to spread the message of who you are and what you're doing and how you're helping women. I truly, truly appreciate your being here. And so before we end, Chris, would you have anything in parting that
Mhm.
you would like to share that you think is maybe just one final word that you would like to share for women who out there who are searching
Yeah.
for a way that they can receive some kind of help and support and mentorship to really
Yeah.
build their business and have the impact that you've had?
Oh, thank you, Lynn. Yeah, absolutely. So, first I would say, please don't try to lone wolf it. That doesn't work well. When you are lone wolfing it, you are going to take the slow road, And even when I opened up my massage therapy practice or even my yoga practice at the very beginning, I was asking other people, I was going to other mentors, I was asking questions. So we're really not meant to do this alone. So I would say, find somebody that you like, find somebody that you resonate with, find somebody that you would like to model your business after, and go to them and ask them questions and, get information, even if it's before you hire, somebody to help you with your business. At some point you will want to hire someone to help you with your business. Just like any company out there, we need, some mentorship that has been further down the freeway than we are, that is going to help guide us in the way that we want to go. And so, I would say that that's probably one of the biggest lessons that I learned in growing, my business through all these years was, I will never be without a coach. As a matter of fact, I have multiple. I have a mindset coach. I have a book coach who also helps me with a new book that we're putting out in the fall, which is called The Soulful Abundance System. And I have a business coach. And, I value each and every one of them for what they do is they help me collapse the timeline to my success. They help me move through any challenges quicker. They help me get the information that I need quicker so that I can pivot in a way that is going to allow me to continue to grow instead of like tap out and say, nope, I'm out. I'm shutting it all down.
That's very, very, very enriching. And then finally, how can someone get in touch with you, Chris?
Oh, yeah. So a couple ways. One, my website is shineabundancenow.com. So you are more than welcome to come there. But what I would really love is if you would come join me inside of my Facebook group, because I love connections and I love to see you and say hello to you and find out what you need so that I can actually pull from my resources and serve you in that way. So the Facebook group is called Holistic Business Abundance. You can Google it and find it there, or we'll share the link with Lynn. And when you join me in there, you'll also get a free business basics checklist for consistent 10 to 30K months, which I love sharing. So I'm about serving and giving lots of value. And so I want to make sure that you get the information that you need.
That's very valuable. So everyone, we will share those both of those links
Mhm.
in the show notes below. And so make sure that you reach out to Chris, either in her Facebook group and receive that valuable amount of information that will be helpful to you and something that I'm sure that you can put into practice right away.
Yeah,
So with
absolutely.
that, I'm so delighted that you were able to join us here today, Chris. So make sure that you reach out to Chris Williams at Soulful Abundance, and she will help you grow your business and
Mhm.
make sure that health, being your first wealth, moves into abundance and soulful giving, as
Mhm.
well as building an abundant lifestyle for you. And with that, I hope that you come back and join us another time at Money Talks for Women. Thank you very much.